Hi there, welcome to Wyckoff Technical Analysis session for Cronos. If you're new to my sessions, here are the 3 key takeaways you can expect from my session. So let's start with the weekly chart of Cronos. So I might have gone into public mode, but anyways, it should be an express session that I should conduct in stealth mode, so apologize if I'm not responding to your questions. So here, Cronos seemingly has repeated something kind of similar to the previous distribution back in December 2024, January 2025, which is after the buying climax, there's no second test, and then quickly after the automatic reaction, it enters the LPSY, the last point of supply stage, and decline all the way towards a new accumulation cycle. So like I said in the title, it seems like it has gone out to space and then retreating slowly back to the atmosphere, maybe landing somewhere between the red or orange key level around 6 cents 80 or 8 cents. Okay, so that's where the accumulation cycle last time, when I say last time, it's only roughly half a year ago during February all the way to June. Okay, those 4 months landed above the 8 cents orange key level, but at the low it tested the red key level of 6 cents 80. Okay, that's what's happening. But instead of just telling you like potentially it's where it's going, I also observed there's another thing that has been happening with Cronos, and that is an ascending peak and also ascending lows, like higher highs and higher lows. So if I draw a line over here from the sign of strength through those buying climaxes, or just you can just use the 2 buying climaxes, I would tend to look for a longer time window. What's happening right now is that both the lows and the highs are ascending, meaning they are getting higher and higher. So this time, would it really land on the orange, or is it going to finish somewhere above, like what's been indicated by October 10th, right there? Okay, it's at around 9 cents 30. Alright, and the current trend line, if the price drops further, below this intermediate support level of 10 cents, let's see whether it will stop around this slope. Okay, if it does, then this uptrend means the uptrend is continuing. Alright, so as of this moment, Cronos may have already entered the preliminary support stage, and that we are about to see the selling climax. Alright, assuming the distribution cycle is really over, like what it did just half a year ago, there is still a slim chance for it to bounce up, but getting to this low point to bounce up is not a likely scenario, like I said. So if it really is coming up for a second test, I would say that's at most that's 10% chance. More likely is heading towards the selling climax. So that's the big picture. Now let's get to the daily. Hey, good day, man. Hi, Sam. So here, it's been a while we covered Cronos, so that's why there are a lot of question marks over there, and they have basically been all confirmed, so it's fine to take out all the question marks now. There were a lot of LPSYs. Okay, if I change it to a line chart, you see all those peaks. So in the daily chart, that's why I said sometimes I tend not to make it too busy, because otherwise it's pretty difficult to read, especially if I shrink it and if you're watching on a mobile device, you won't be able to tell what those tags are. Alright, so these trend boxes is no longer relevant, so we reuse it or recycle it. Okay, let's be more environmental friendly. So from that uptrend, not half a year ago, probably just a little bit more than a quarter ago during July, that pumped the price to the UTAD in the daily time frame. This downtrend that started after the UTAD back in end of August now is still continuing. The only outlier event was October 10th that everybody should know about. Okay, so this just on Tuesday, this price surge tested the ceiling of the downtrend, but it wasn't successful. It didn't break out. There was, if you have been following my sessions, you know that's a breakout opportunity because the ceiling was crossing the green key level, and that test failed. And now we are going even deeper than the yellow support line. Let me change this box back to the usual color. Alright, so if this continues to go down, let me shrink it. I just want to let you know where the levels are, because I've received feedbacks in the past that it's better to let you know, or like this 11 cents level is where the battlefield is around. And further down, the orange and the red, we already talked about the 8 cents and the 6 cents 80. There is intermediate level over here around 10 cents. And also around these sign of weaknesses, there would be another intermediate supports. So let's copy that down. Not that they are the key levels, but at around line 9 cents, there is another level because of how things had traded in the past. So there are people with a bunch of stocks in hand, probably around those prices, and they will react or act when the price drops to those levels. Okay, so if the price climbs back in the next few days up to above the yellow key level of 11 cents, then you know what would happen, right? It will test the channel ceiling again and see whether this time there's sufficient support or buy-in for the price to stay above the yellow key level and retest the green key level of around 12 cents 90. Alright, but if it doesn't pops up in the next 2 days, then it will continue to seek its path towards the lower orange key level. Okay, let's get this away, and we have touched on the time points, we have touched on the key levels, and finally the stages of Wyckoff. So if this is the sign of weakness, okay, right around or below the green key level, like what happened back in August, the automatic reaction and also sign of weakness happened around that time, both in August. Now we are back to that level and actually lower than that. So what to expect next is basically the same as in the weekly chart. So this is really cramped, so I have to expand this. Yeah, this is what I'm trying to track out from the previous accumulation. So basically a PS and an SC. So it's not PlayStation and Sega, it's the preliminary support and selling climax that we are expecting to see. We may have already entered the PS stage, and now it's just a matter of time that the selling climax appears. Whether it's going to stop somewhere around this level indicated by October 10th, it's poking straight into the zone between those two intermediate levels. So if that's the case, if that's the lowest point, by the end of this month and early December, you see this triangle over here, right? If the price really drops to this level and breaks out, that's an opportunity near the end of this month. A few days earlier than that is the intermediate level above. So one sits at around 10 cents, the other sits at around 9 cents. Okay? Hey, good morning. Is it, I don't know, is that an I or L? Is it Elias or ES? you know I'm talking about you, right? So, hello. So that's it for Cronos. It's been a while since we covered it, and like many other altcoins, the weather isn't just fine for everybody. Some weather better than the others, but Cronos, it looks kind of similar. So these peaks, it pumped quickly and then returned quickly. There's not much time staying in the air. So that's why in the title I said it looks like it launched to beyond the atmosphere and then quickly declined without any maneuver around the Earth. So thanks for joining me in this session. I'm moving on to the next one, and I'll go into stealth mode so I can do it quicker.